Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is OctoMan from OctoManGames.com, and this is the video diary number 1 for our project Metroid Hybrid over here. Who's me and who's the other person? The other person is a friend of mine who's going to have the idea to make some kind of a Metroid Hybrid over there. So what we started with is basically thinking about measurement and sizes. So for example, if we want to go for certain rooms like that, we're gonna have to decide how huge does a game or does a play style has to be, or how big has a room to be. So what we did is we decided to make it 12 meters in depth, 12 meters in height, and 21 meters. For me, I used 21 meters from left to right. So the camera fits nicely. I can also get away from it a bit and have enough to show later on. Also, he's going to use probably a room size of 12 by 12 by 12, so basically in a cubish manner. So let me show you pretty quickly what we have programmed so far. So this is basically where we started in this prototyping phase. We are just having a simple character controller, let's say, in which we are able to do several certain inputs. So we are using gravity, but not the normal way, since we are using a 3D space, and we wanted to have some snappy jumping over here. So Metroid is a jump and run game, and why is our game a hybrid? I'm gonna show in a moment. So what do we have so far based on controls? Well, currently I'm using my gamepad over here. There's also the possibility for keyboard input and stuff like that, which we are going to use easily from the new input system. So I was able to take a look into that and see, okay, how easy is that to implement keyboard input as well as gamepad input. So once again, currently using a gamepad here. So we could go, or we can go left and right. We can do a normal jump. So we can also define how fast we want to jump, basically, so we can manipulate gravity in any kind of a manner. We can make stuff slower or faster based on a simple float variable. What we also have on this little controller here is double jump. So when I hop once and mid-air, I press another one, I can have a double jump. I can increase the jumps in air how much I want to as well. So I can say, okay, if 2 is not enough, I can make a 3 or 4 or 10 or whatever I want. What we also got is, since probably it's not easy to come up here into this wall or above that floor basically, or maybe we can do that. I implemented wall jump, so we can basically jump against the wall. We're gonna get pushed away from that wall and we can easily reach higher places. So we can do this wall jump basically every now and then. So every time I need to, let's say, sometimes it's not really reacting, but you can see if I do a wall jump, I can even use like this middle piece over here to wall jump against it or away from it. So this is what we got currently from our controller wise. What we also want to implement is going to be a shootability, so we basically can shoot bullets into either direction, left or right. Maybe we also implement the functionality of creating or becoming ourselves a ball or something round where we can go through narrow places, so we can find hidden gems or something like that, or hidden rooms. We just need to find a way to hide that hidden room so we can easily go further with that. Also, what we want to implement is, as you can see, the camera currently follows the player, but only to a certain spot. Like over here, the camera is not really following up because I limit the camera using the Cinemachine, I believe, I'm not quite sure what it is called, Definer or something similar, which just gives me the possibility to clamp this camera inside this room. So the next steps I'm going to do or implement are going to be a room transition. So whenever I shoot this door, it should open. Well, this is the first piece to the door mechanics itself. The second one should shoot me whenever I hit a certain collider, should shoot me into the next room, close both doors afterwards, as well as changing this current virtual camera piece over here to the next one. So I get a little scene transition from here to the right side, and then the new camera, which is clamped to the next room, is going to follow up. So basically whenever I'm in this next room, I have a collision object over there, which doesn't really collide, but what I can use to map out where reachable areas are, where the camera should follow to, or even not. Same is going to happen for all the other rooms, so each of them single rooms do have their own virtual cam setting. So my main camera can stick to it, can ease in and ease out in between scenes later on whenever the door mechanic in its general purpose is going to be done. So why did I choose this layout is rather simple. When I go back into my Inkscape over here, I can pretty quickly explain what the problems for me are to create certain levels. Well, the first thing is, okay, we decided to make a 12 by 12 by 21 centimeters or meters in that case, sizes of rooms, but well, I want to have something called the ability, let's say, to plan ahead better. And to do so, we can use single modules, let's say, which can be such room modules in which I can plan ahead early, and then I can adapt that into a 3D model scene or in the 3D Unity scene. With that knowledge that I know, okay, there can be openings to the left or to the right. There can be a bottom can be opened as well as there can be only a side open over here. I took this approach and brought this into 3D and modeled basically just the, let's say, collision objects for these rooms before we can go further with designing all these rooms however we want and like to. And so this approach is giving me the possibility to say, okay, where does the player start? What kind of rooms do we want to have? How high should they be or could they be? And I'm not having all of the possibilities over here, as you probably already have seen. There are a bunch of more necessary for that purpose. So, but what we can do with such an input or layout, we can just say, okay, we need a room which has no opening to the left or no to the right. For example, this one. I can take this, bring this somewhere and can say, okay, I want my player to start here, but what should be next? I need a room with either a double door, for example, like this one. So where I can first off enter the next door or go somewhere else. So as you can see, I don't have for everything, every kind of a room scenario, let's say. But as you can tell here, I was just using, some of these elements, like this one is going to be maybe this one over here, but actually, mirrored around until it fits to that. So that way I am allowed, or I am able to put some nice room settings together. I can put a longer room or longer floors and so on. Once again, they are not all currently available over here. But for example, I can say the next one I want is maybe some of these. So I can snap them to a grid over here and can later on test out if they anyhow do make sense. So if I snap them together to a grid or something like that, like wherever I want to, literally, somehow that doesn't always work. Well, you can see they are going to snap together. And now, since I have an opening in the bottom, or basically started a bigger room, I can take another bigger piece and put this below. And I can do this like unlimited, or how much I want over here, just for that simple or single, let's say, planning phase I'm literally currently in. So what I now can also talk about is pretty quick, like level planning or level planning. So if you know where your character could start at, you're gonna make sure that all the room pieces are going to be the same size, so you can lay it out easier over here. What you put inside has nothing to do with the basic layout over there. This is just a foundation to get an idea about what could be a size of a room. Does it make sense to have a size like that? Also, what I just created some simple graphics over here to determine, okay, this room should have enemies. Same for this room. Also, I can define, do I need or do I want some unlock mechanic for certain doors, and where can I find the key for that unlock mechanic, whatever that is. It could be a key element in general, like, I don't know, find the triangle stone and bring this to this area over here, or it could be any other, it could be any other scenario, like, for example, we can pick up a certain rocket type or whatever, which we need to open a certain door. Same for other key items, or well, maybe just single items like an energy container can be hidden maybe somewhere in this room. So you can plan ahead, or we can plan ahead better by just using simple things. Also defining what a boss room is, where the boss room is, and what we probably need is maybe this key item to get there into this room so we can fight the boss and, later on go and exit. So maybe that helps you a bit also to think about what you can do. You don't necessarily have to, of course, but maybe this is something you want to think about in your next level creation, progress. So why are we now a hybrid? Well, the hybrid thing is going to be, since we are allowed to search for things, we implemented something extra. So whenever or wherever I'm currently at, when I hit the right trigger, I can go in first-person view on my character over here. We are not allowed to move, just to watch or look around, and probably also later on to be able to shoot in a certain direction. For example, if I hide some key element below this platform, or maybe somewhere in the wall, well, or maybe gonna put it in the bottom, in the floor, but we cannot see this from anywhere but from this certain position, depending on how high I do this view range angles, I can hide certain things inside object. Also, what you can see from this side, you cannot see what is in front, like in front of this character, for example, to the right side. We can put key elements in this wall. Whenever we shoot them, we can make them collectible, or maybe, solve puzzles on such walls, or maybe anywhere else by shooting certain things, make everything green, like certain buttons, or whatever the mechanics could be to actually open the next door, or maybe to find a certain item. And we can place it literally in front of this camera. So why is that so important, or why is that so special? As you can see, the frustum of my camera is starting here right before this latch, or right before this platform. So everything in this certain area over here is not visible for the camera. So we can use that fact and put content over here, which we don't see from the normal view over here, but we can see this only out of this area whenever we are in this view. So this is super important for us to use, because we are different then. This is like a different core feature for our specific mechanic and system over here, which we wanted to implement and wanted to take a look around. I mean, we also want to check out how beautiful maybe the scene is. Maybe we find and discover something else, and so on and so forth. And maybe we're gonna put some key elements, well, either in this bar or stripe over here, which is hopefully not going to be in every room, because we may or may not use this constantly, but sometimes. And so we have to go into this other view, and so on and so forth. So to see certain things which we, out of this certain view, are not allowed to see, or maybe cannot see because of the frustum, is going to, get rid of that. So as you can tell, there's a bunch of more stuff to do over here. So, well, the next couple of days, I'm going to work on the room transitions, the door system in general. Also what we want to work on, or what I want to work on, is whenever I go through and enter a next room and I'm far away from a door that I want to not load all the other rooms, I only want to load them whenever I'm, let's say, rather close to this area. Let's assume I'm going to go next to this area point, or this doom part, like with a, let's say, certain distance. Once I reach that area, this is the only way when I want to load, let's say, the next room, whichever is inside. So when we are literally in the center of this, when there's a platform in the middle, I only want to load them both whenever I'm close to such a point like here. Also, each single room later on will have its own scene, so I can plan ahead better, maybe create more content, better content inside. So what I do is I create something like a loading and unloading functionality, so we don't have to preload each single room no matter what's inside. We only want to load them, including every asset, whenever we are close enough to the next door. So This is something we want to go for and implement. Most of the code is already done, I would say. And after that, we are going to start to implement platforms, maybe make some beautiful, let's say, riddles, or maybe some features, maybe also start to work on some enemy kind of stuff we have to work on later, and maybe find some puzzle mechanics we can use over here to make this something special. If you'd like to see more of such videos, let me know. So whenever I create something on my own, or maybe I'm gonna discover something new, I probably can hook you up with that, and maybe you can make use of that as well. So thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this little video diary. If that is so, feel free to thumb this video up and follow my channel to keep on updated on this or maybe other project you might be interested into. Thanks a lot, and talk to you next time. Bye bye.